Things you own end up owning you.
What's going on, cutie pies? Welcome back to the show. Hope everybody's year is off to a good start. My guests today are Ashley and Sarah Armstrong, also known as the Strong Sistas. They are first-generation farmers at Angel Acres, which is based in Michigan, and they share their journey of recovering their health from a less optimal state. We talk about what led them to try the keto and carnivore diet. We talk about mold. We talk about farming. And how they go about finding their way back to a more healthy well-being. They're fun and really smart girls to talk to, and I hope you enjoy the show. Okay.
I was turning you up. Thank you for having us on.
Anytime. Ashley Armstrong, Sarah Armstrong. Which one is which so people know, don't get confused?
Ashley. That leaves Sarah.
And you guys got like the most coolest American last name. Armstrong. I think it's like old school, right?
Mm-hmm. Is that like what it would be? We're like, I think it comes from like Scotland.
Well,
I don't know. We have a Scottish
English, right?
coat of arms.
Yeah. Growing up, I was like really self-conscious too, because like I always felt like I had to have really strong arms.
Really? That's what you thought about? That's crazy.
I did.
But America has like the guy that walked on the moon, Armstrong, and you have Lance Armstrong. Although now he's kind of like demonized a little bit, isn't he nowadays? Nobody really likes Lance Armstrong anymore, right?
No.
When I moved here from Russia, that was, I think, the period when he was like at his best. He was, everybody was wearing those yellow bracelets. Did you guys have those? Like the
Live
little,
strong.
Live strong. See? Yeah. You had one, right?
Yeah, like Nike took that over and like really like had attire. Yeah.
And now it's just kind of dead. Nobody wears those things anymore.
It's not a thing. Yeah, it's not a thing anymore.
Not really anymore.
He was exposed for drug use? No?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
okay.
he kind of came clean kind of after like suing a bunch of people, and that was a whole kind of mess. And then he was like, all right, I guess I did do drugs. I'm sorry, my bad. And so
We're not related. We're
It
not
is
related.
No.
I know it looks like it.
Oh.
Very clear. Very but
So speaking of that, so were you guys always into lifting and stuff? I mean, where did it all begin, like as far as lifting wise and physical training and physical culture stuff?
Yeah.
So okay, like the first beginning, I started to really get into soccer training, and I wanted to be like the best soccer player there was. I was like obsessed with Mia Hamm, and I started going to this like sports performance place, and so that got me into strength training when I was about 14 or 15. And I started to really love it. And we had this small little gym in the basement of our parents' house. And I like forced Sarah to do workouts with me.
I was a large child.
So you weren't into it. Ashley was into it.
I was not into it. I was not into it.
At that time.
I specifically recall her making me do crunches on an exercise ball. I was like synonymous with the ball. So it was like ball.
And you're like
Not
unstable on it. Yeah. Okay.
No, but then I got really into it. So
Okay.
you know how that goes.
It all started with like wanting to be the best athlete, and then realizing like I think I like strength training better than my sport.
Like a lot of us. Yeah, same thing with me including. Yeah, a lot of people. You just kind of get into it. You're like, I actually don't want to compete against people and get my ass kicked or whatever. It's kind of a lot more fun just to lift and go against yourself, hey?
Yeah. So it kind of started more with like athlete and then like more bodybuilding, and then we really got into strength training and powerlifting.
Okay.
So we did a few competitions, maybe like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So you competed in powerlifting. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
Wow. Okay. And were you guys, what did you follow? Did you have were you like a Louis Simmons, West Side Barbell kind of thing, or what?
I started it with just the strongless 5x5.
Classic.
Then classic.
Yeah.
That was beginning of college, and then actually I started with P90X.
Oh, even more classic. Tony Horton. I see him all the time out here in Santa Monica Beach. He works out on Muscle
Do you
Beach.
really?
Yeah. Although he's, I mean, at one point, again, when I just moved to LA, this was like 2009. He was at his peak, Tony Horton-ish. You know how he's like, kind of my energy, like crazy, like talking nonstop. So he would do insane stuff on the beach. He was doing muscle ups and stuff that people don't. Now a lot of people are getting into it because of social media and stuff. But back then it was like, you're seeing this wild man. And even then I think he was already like 45 or 40. Because he's 60 now. He's around 60 now. And yeah, you'd see him on the beach and he's doing handstand push-ups and 40 dips and all sorts of stuff. So he used to have like Sunday fun day, goes out there at like 8 a.m. and he'd be out there just kicking ass. And yeah, he's a cool dude. He's a really fun guy to work out with because he's got like this, insane energy. So he's just like, and everybody's with him. Yeah.
So that was probably his prime in 2009 was probably when I was doing P90X, but then I went to, the strong lifts. And then I think we just did DUP
style training,
where we would like squat, bench, and deadlift 3 times a week. So I don't know, it was fun.
Heavy.
It was a lot of fun. It taught us a lot about, I think something she skipped over getting into lifting was like a lot of eating disorder mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I wasn't kidding when I said like I felt like I had to have strong arms, and coming from like a chubby childhood, I had to make up for that somehow. So I knew I could control my body by lifting. And so powerlifting was really empowering, where it no longer was like the aesthetics, but more so the strength component.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a good part of our journey, but you can always take things too far. So there's always that.
Because then we realized like, I like the bodybuilding side too. So let's do both. And so I think that power building, like that's the approach we took for a number of years. I think that that's incredibly powerful, but only if you balance it properly.
If you eat enough.
And if you eat enough, and if you eat carbohydrates, and if you don't fast all the time. So we kind of we were at this stage of our life where we just were doing a lot of extremes at one time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We were lifting heavy while fasting, and
well, we've all been there and done that. That's to some degree, I think it's normal, right? I like to do that. Well, I think it's good for people to do that because then they kind of find their middle eventually. Whereas I feel like if you never try anything, it's like that saying in life, you're not going to really know anything about anything because you're never going to find those boundaries. Like, okay, this is too far. Like if I'm doing powerlifting all the time and I'm looking like a blueberry, I think it's probably a bit too far, right? Like some guys take it, you know what I mean? Right? Like chugging, what is it? The chicken breast milkshakes and all that kind of stuff. And then you have bodybuilding where those guys are super aesthetically looking great, but like metabolisms are terrible. And,
she did a bikini competition.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great way to fuck up your whole system, huh?
I did it keto too. So like, let's just make it even worse.
Oh my God. You're saying while you were doing this? You were doing keto and you were doing bodybuilding at the same time, or it was kind of separate?
No, that was the same time. And then right after my competition is when I was just like, I'm going to go full carnivore.
All right, let me give a brief timeline.
Yeah.
So like younger children into strength training, kind of had some orthorexia.
No.
But then I went away to college. We're 3.5 years apart.
Mm-hmm.
And so I played golf in college. And so I was trying to do both golf and working out, and probably did too much there. And then we moved in together when she was an undergrad and I was in grad school, and we were doing powerlifting. And at that time, we were very much into the IFM life, if it fits your macros life, and like, let's just eat so much food and become female blueberries. Then kind of got some like autoimmune conditions because we didn't know how to eat well.
I don't know what we were doing.
I don't know. And then
you were exploring.
And then we explored like fasting, and then keto, and then carnivore. And so in that time we were doing power building and working out a lot.
Yeah.
And then we reached a breaking point in early 2020. And then that's what led us to, okay, we've got to actually fix our hormones. And so we've got to take a break.
Recent. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We've got to take a break on strength training to get our periods back, and then insert like pro-metabolic.
We have to eat.
And repeat principles. And that's where, 2 years later.
Okay.
Wow, it's been 2 years.
But, it's good to go back and to think about what you were thinking about. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm getting a little bit of feedback here. Are you getting feedback, or is it just me? Okay, we're good. I hope it's going to record all right. Anyway, it's good to go back. And I'm curious, like while you were doing all those crazy diets, was it just the aesthetics? Because, to be fair, if you're doing keto and you're doing bodybuilding training or even just powerlifting, you're going to get shredded and lean. Am I right? You're going to lean out. You're going to look good. Eventually.
Yeah, but you get like such less of a pump.
100%.
It's like, it's no fun.
100%. Which is why most bodybuilders even out to, or bikini type girls, right? They even out to like, then they'll do like
like 1 cup of brown rice a day and like disgusting quinoa that tastes like shit. And so they'll add some carbs in there, am I right? But then, so, you know, and then they still keep them very low, probably like 100 grams a day or something like that, tops. Yeah. So I'm just saying, it's, to be fair, you do get lean. So was it the aesthetic part, or was it the performance part that was keeping you like, yeah, fuck yeah, keto, carnivore? No?
Oh, absolutely not the performance.
I think, it was like we thought we were doing healthy things for ourselves, but you know, then you come to find like the thyroid panels and still not getting your period and just really not feeling good, and then you start gaining like fat around your waist when you're dieting, and you can't increase your calories. And
but I will say,
like a lot of signs of slowing metabolism.
We did significantly reduce our inflammation, but you are going to do that when you go from not knowing how to cook vegetables and food properly and like slamming like Walmart bread with Smart Balance margarine,
almond milk and stuff. Guys, wait, hold on. Everybody hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Almond milk. Oat milk.
We'll put it on the hats. We got all the fuck oat milk gear now. We had a different code word, but we forgot about it. We got carried off. Anyways.
Of course, you're going to reduce inflammation when you go from being like plant-based, not knowing how to cook your food properly, consuming all this weird oat milk and almond milk stuff, and then you go and you consume bioavailable animal foods, right? Like, I think that, like you said, it's important to try these extremes, because then you actually really learn, like, oh, animal foods are the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet, and I don't have extreme negative reactions to a lot of the anti-nutrients and things like that. So we did see a big like reduction in inflammation in a lot of our symptoms. But then you kind of like prolonged period of running on stress hormones, like that's going to catch up to you at some point. And so we did experience those benefits because we were searching for optimal health to reduce our autoimmune condition, like some of our symptoms, like really cold hands and feet, Raynaud's.
Yeah, but that didn't go away.
Yeah.
You're still having that. Well, you know.
No, not anymore. I'm sorry. I meant like that obviously didn't improve with keto because
thyroid.
That's thyroid related.
So it sounds like to me this whole time you guys were kind of searching for like a real, I mean, like all of us that get into this stuff. I feel like everybody that's into the health sphere, none of them are like, oh, I have the best perfect health, everything is good, because I feel like they would never get into learning about that stuff, right? So everybody has had some sort of problems. So were you having problems even before you took a deep dive into everything, like as far as including keto and carnivore? Did you guys always have that growing up, or you were kind of more or less healthy?
Yeah, so I've been listening to a lot of interesting things about like childhood trauma and, you know, a lot of emotional instability and stuff growing up, and that kind of manifesting into autoimmune disease and stuff, or at least like IBS or some sort of gut problem. I don't know how, like, if there's like actual like correlations there, but I believe it because I think, you know, I was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease pretty young, and I could never really understand why. And so when I think about all the stress that I went through as a child, like just in my own mind, you know, creating these things, like I was a fat child, I was bullied for that. I was always comparing myself. So I think I was definitely having health issues to the point of, you know, being diagnosed with autoimmune disease. And then I think once you know that too, you automatically get worse because you start associating like all these symptoms and things, and you start
IM disease.
You start stressing about it a lot more.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you start going to all these different extremes to fix yourself. And so I think the most powerful thing that's happened within the last 2 years is learning to disassociate with a diagnosis and just learn to trust your own body and like find, you know, what works for you. And so like we said, we were having issues, and we were having issues going through keto and carnivore. We would see certain things improve because like you're changing something, so something else is
There's always going to be an improvement.
But it was never like a holistic metabolic, you know, whole improvement where, you know, your body temperatures are going up. You actually feel good throughout the day. You know, you're getting your period and stuff. So, you know, a lot of lessons learned, but yeah, things are never perfect, and they're never going to be. I mean, that's life. That's why we're all still, that's why we're having this conversation.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
We wouldn't be here.
And how about you, Ashley? So Sarah had autoimmune diagnosis. Have you had something like that?
I had elevated ANA markers, and so I was trending towards that, but I went through orthorexia in the extremes during adolescence, during a time where the female body is supposed to develop. So I got my period one time, and then I've always been a really big athlete, and kind of, you know, I played golf in undergrad and added a lot of working out on my own on top of that. And then also did like engineering. And so I just like didn't sleep much. And so I just went through all these extremes at a young age when you're supposed to like develop. And during that time, I never properly fueled myself. And so I think I kind of set my thyroid, metabolism, and hormones off at a horrible start. Like
So you were just redlining it from all sides. You were just like school, working out, having problems.
So I've probably been running on stress hormones like since age like 14 or 15. And then I finally got my period back last year. So that was like a victory and a celebration. But it's really interesting to like just see how many people come around to this place of like, oh, it kind of all goes back to your metabolism and your thyroid health. And why didn't anyone tell me this?
So that was going to be my next question. So before you got to this place, did you do the whole typical go to the doctor says you're fine, it'll come back around, or take this drug and try this and nothing helps, and just take another one, then the fourth one? How did that process go?
I've probably seen like 5 or 6 endocrinologists between the age of like 16 and 25. And just the only solution every time was like, here's a birth control pill. Here's a birth control pill. Here's an iron supplement. Here's a birth control pill. Thankfully, I was never good at taking those. So I'd be like 5 days and then I'd be like, I don't feel like taking this anymore. And so I just would cycle off of it. But because then I would have just had so much iron accumulation because not bleeding plus putting a bunch of iron into your body, synthetic iron with pills. And so it just was never like the root cause was never discussed in terms of like hormonal issues and then your autoimmune stuff with the doctor.
Well, I mean, I think, doctors, they don't provide solutions. They do provide solutions in their own way. They're like bandage solutions. They don't provide answers.
Yeah, they're busy, right? It's like 6 minutes or whatever is the average time they spend with you, right? Or something. And it's getting shorter. Now they just want like a Zoom, right? Now they just want to call you for 3 minutes and then just like, see ya, right? It's like it's going to keep getting shorter and shorter, I think,
Yeah, and I finally learned like why, and I'm sure it's because that's all they're getting billed for, like insurance. They get a small amount of money for each person who comes through, so they can need to minimize the time with them. So if I'm not paying for it, my insurance is. So
it's an insane system. I mean, it's not like I got one better or I can come up with one better, but I think people should admit that it's fucking insane. It's just crazy how it is. You go to the doctor, it's just like nothing.
Well, what's really interesting too is like, so just to kind of, now we're going to change into the most recent journey we've been on. When we moved into our farmhouse in 2020, at the end of 2020, we moved into a really moldy house that we didn't know. Obviously, we wouldn't have done it. And so that brought its own set of challenges because at the time when we were moving in, like we hadn't really, really finalized, perfecting our metabolisms or, fixing ourselves. So we were
only about 6 months into like pro-metabolic and healing.
So you were just changing your diet around from being on an extreme low carb-ish diet and all that.
We were pretty vulnerable. Yeah. And so I started dealing with pretty bad mold toxicity. And so that lends itself to like estrogen dominance. And I mean, the way I see it now is like, mold is just like not pro-metabolic, it's anti-metabolic. And so it's obviously going to like hinder my thyroid health and all that. So things are a lot better now, but I dealt with the last year. So we were talking about like, doctors, dealing with doctor's office is insane, but also dealing with like naturopathics at the same, like, it's kind of like this another insane world.
Yeah. So the current system, the way I see it, is that you go to the doctor and it's like birth control. And then you go to the naturopath and it's like acupuncture and vitamin C or like some fucking supplement that doesn't do anything and you won't ever feel, but they make you feel like you will feel something. And then you're kind of confused and you keep going. And you know that it's better than to take in something, right, like big pharma style stuff, right? But it's like, it just doesn't work either. And then you're kind of stuck. And then you end up maybe going to like a chakra healer or something like that. And it just keeps going. I've done it all. You've done it all?
Dude,
oh, wow.
She's literally done it, like insert anything.
So we got to talk about that.
This is last year. Yeah. But,
okay.
It's disheartening because none of it's like, that's why we appreciate Ray Pete's work so much, because it's like, you can always find an answer. It always comes back to the same principles. And so I've had to like silence a lot of other things that people have told me and just continue to follow his work. And that's how I've kind of found,
with some reminders.
Continuously making mistakes. But yeah, it's been a very interesting last year and very eye-opening. Yeah, like you said, we've learned so much, and you have to go through it to kind of understand what's right and what doesn't work for you.
But like even right now, like no one is in absolute perfect health.
No.
And I think that a lot of people think that they're seeking this like end destination.
Yes.
But we are in winter. There's a foot of snow, a foot and a half of snow on the ground. It's 15 degrees outside. How can the approach that worked for us last summer, where I was having continuously high temperatures throughout the day, how can that same approach work for the given outdoor conditions right now, where we have to spend like 4 hours outside for farm chores? So it's just like, I think being at this place now where one is just realizing that like health is an evolving journey. Like you're never going to reach this like flatline place where like, okay, I'm good. I have solved everything. Like we live in such a messed up world to begin with, and we're thrown with all these challenges and cold temperatures and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it's been a very crazy journey. But like you said, if we hadn't gone on all these extremes, we wouldn't have a good perspective on health, I don't think.
Well, how about we talk about that evolving kind of thing? You're saying, in the summer you do this, in the winter you do that. How has your, approach changed just from seasons? What have you been doing differently?
So we actually stumbled on an interview that Ray was talking, because he lives in Oregon, and so the temperatures fluctuate a little bit there, and he was bringing up that he requires more thyroid support in the winter.
Oh yeah. He just takes a bottle. He just eats the whole bottle.
Just I think
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Nibbles throughout the day. So regular sauna use has been good, and not necessarily the place of like making yourself like sweat and like a bunch, but just getting your body temperature back up after being outside, because being cold chronically is very stressful to the system. But now we have people forcing themselves to do this every single day in ice baths. So kind of regularly getting our body back up to good temperature after being outside. I think that that's super important. So whether that's like warm foot baths, taking a quick shower, jumping in the sauna to just get your body temperature back up, because people forget that our digestive enzymes, just our body functions best when it's at a higher temperature. Like 98.6 degrees is where enzymatic reactions are operating at their peak efficiency. So anything you can do to get your body back up to that. I've had to consume a lot more food, like eat quite a bit more food. Yeah. And
there's a reason, right? You kind of like want to, like when it's winter outside, you kind of want to just eat a big, plate of mashed potatoes and lay on the couch. Like you kind of want to do that naturally, don't you? You want to eat more. I mean, it's true. And then when it's summer outside, you just want to eat a banana and then maybe go on a run or something. I mean, I feel like most people that are close to being, healthy-ish are feel like that. I think.
Yeah. And then I think the temperature of the food that you're consuming is also important. So like in the summer, like there is nothing better than a glass of cold raw milk, right? Yeah. In the winter, like that's not necessarily going to work as well for me. So I like to heat up my milk on the stove lightly.
Make a little hot cocoa.
Yeah.
Put little marshmallows on top. Oh my God. It's so tasty.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. It's so tasty. I love it. Okay.
So that's kind of some of the changes. What are other things?
Oh, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's not too different. I mean, the same principles apply. Like I still drink orange juice and stuff, but I try to I heat up my milk. It's just warmer things.
Yeah. But the thing is that you're paying attention, right? And that's again with the diet thing. It's like if people never try anything, they don't know and they just don't care. And I mean, I don't know why some people don't care. Genuinely, I don't know. I'm curious.
Well, to be honest, I've actually talked about this with Ashley some. It's like ignorance is bliss in a way. So like, if I didn't know, would I have any of these issues?
It's very true. There's a whole school of thought of that. Yeah. Because you don't want to be that guy. Like, I mean, I've been to like, organic cafes here with people that are like, have you guys ever seen that show Portlandia?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. You know that guy, that skit when they're like in the restaurant and they're going to order like an omelet or something. He's like, where are these eggs from? And the guy's like, or the woman is like, it's from our backyard. It's like, okay, what is the name of the chicken that laid the eggs? It's like, his name is Colin. And they just keep going. They're like, is it loyalty free? Or it's just all these terms, that they make up, and it just keeps going. So I've been to restaurants with people like that. They're just like, they can't eat an egg. That's like, it has to be organic, certified pasture raised. And hey, I'm all about it. I'm definitely for that. But at the same time, like I just got back from traveling for 2 weeks, and it's like I'm not gonna have access to any of that shit. So I have to be I have to like try to live life and enjoy it and experience it, because otherwise you're just gonna get stressed more about it, and then you're gonna be even sicker.
If you were at the store though and you were presented with only oat milk, would you
I
drink
throw it at the cash register. Just no.
That's a really good
Star
point, though.
or oat milk.
There's a middle to these. Right? So that's what I'm saying. Like I did actually. I had a flight. Actually, I flew through Detroit, your part of the country, and my plane was late, so I missed my connection. I went to a coldy, shitty, 100% moldy hotel room.
Oh.
Try to go outside. They don't have this place out here, Checkers, like a fast food joint, Checkers. I didn't, see, even you don't know. Even you don't know Checkers. Anyway, I got to this hotel room. Okay, I tell the story. I get to the hotel. And I'm like, do you guys have any food around here? And she's like, we got Checkers out back. And I'm like, okay, I'll go to Checkers out back. She has like 1 tooth. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, I'll go to Checkers out back. So I go to walk to Checkers in your, weather, in that cold ass fucking Detroit, Michigan weather. And I walk up to the, and it's just a window. There's no inside. And he just goes, our system's down. And I just go, fuck my life. And I go to like a McDonald's. This is a true story. This just happened 3 weeks ago over Christmas. I go to McDonald's, and I didn't know this, but I wave to the and it's only a drive-through, so I wave to the lady like a fucking idiot. I'm just like, and she's like, you have a car? And I was like, no. She's like, oh, we can't take an order. It's for safety reasons. I didn't know that you can't do an order unless if you have a car in a drive-through. Did you know that? See, I just blew your mind. I don't know. I feel like it is too, right? I was like, I just want some, but I didn't have a car because I'm in Detroit, Michigan. Anyway, then I go to a Wendy's, and before I even get there, the guy does the same thing to me. He just does this to me. I just go. So I ended up going to a fucking gas station. I went to the gas station. I got like the 2% milk that they have there, which I don't know where it came from. It's probably been there for 6 years, and it's still like, that's because it's pasteurized. It's still good. And then I had some cheese, and I found like a banana. Those bananas that they just like, you're like, where are these bananas come? They're just laying everywhere next to the cash register. Like, what the fuck? Where are these bananas from, right? They're frozen or something. So that was my dinner that night. So anyway, there's like a middle. Like I could have got like an almond milk thing or something. I'm sure they had it there. But, you can, like, I do fine with like pasteurized, whatever, vitamin D, all that fine milk. Like I don't have any issues. But would I prefer to have some raw milk in the gas station? Yeah, you know what I mean? Of course.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
We've definitely been on that extreme too, where you only consume what you believe as the highest quality food, right? It's kind of like this superiority complex of like, I don't need anything less than. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we've definitely been there too. And that itself can be that can lead to eating disorder tendencies, because you refuse to eat other food, and then you like refuse to go and like experience other things because you're afraid of the quality of the food too.
Yeah, like that story you just told, like that was worth it.
That was great.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, so like we have our chickens and we produce our own eggs, so like we like to make our own food and make sure it's good quality. But I think like she was saying, it's harmful if you were to like presented an option and then like you're so scared about it, so you just choose not to eat. Mm-hmm. That's like so much worse.
Exactly. Because I've had several clients like that in France that they're at a restaurant and they don't have the perfect food, so they just say, I'm just gonna fast, and they're like withering away and they're skinny and it's too much, and it's like, for what? For what? Why are you doing that?
Yeah. There's good options that you can consume that aren't necessarily the highest quality, but it's better than severe restriction for long periods of time. Something that we've all had to learn.
Yeah. And even now I'm experimenting with different things too, because like I'm trying to drink a lot more milk, and so I don't want to just have if I'm trying to drink like over 2 to 3 quarts, I don't want just like all full fat. So I'm trying the lower
you'll
fat.
Get thick, the tongue going thick, thick. If you drink too, I've been there, done that. I've been there with full fat. Do you know what's that? Alexander milk. I get raw milk here like every 2 weeks, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I do. So I'll just throw in some Alexander in there, and I've done like a gallon. I love milk personally. I grew up in Russia. Milk is very common food, dairy stuff. So I've done that. And yeah, you just get thick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a bit
So,
too much.
like,
you got to balance it out, right?
you gotta get that 2%, that 1% milk. And so, it's actually funny because I think that Ray drinks like 1% milk with all the stuff added. So like stepping away from the like really minute things that really stress you out and looking at the bigger picture of like, what is this food actually doing for me? What am I getting from it? Am I taking care of other things? That's what I'm working on. And it's working a lot better for me.
Well, I think there's like this hyper fixation of nutrient density, which I think is important. Like, I think it's very important to regularly include nutrient dense food, but there's more to health and eating than just nutrients, because if you're not eating enough food, so calories.
Yes.
And then the whole point is to raise your body temperature and to improve your metabolism so that way your body can function properly. And if someone is just consuming like small amounts of nutrient dense foods, that may not be enough. And so again, it goes back to like, what's the whole purpose of eating?
You have both.
You gotta have both.
Yeah, like what if you just ate like 6 oysters and a beef liver every day, but like nothing
There are
else,
people who do that.
right? I know. I've been there and done that too. I'm from a little bit of the older school of like Agenus Vonderplanets, all that kind of stuff. So I've been there and done that, along with our mutual friend Kyle Mamunis. We've done. Yeah.
We were raw carnivores for probably 3 or 4 months.
Once you stop doing it, I can never go back. Now I think about eating that raw shit, and I'm like, oh.
We got raw sirloin steak from Trader Joe's, and it was supposed to be grass-fed and finished, but it had this weird, like, preservative coating on it, and I still have the taste in my mouth.
Sour.
Oh, it was so bad.
Yeah.
It was
No,
so bad.
I'm good. I pass. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll kill some of those fucking nutrients. I don't care. I'll take them and kill them. Because it's too much, right? It's too much. Also, come on, let's be honest. You're not really enjoying it. Most people are just doing it for the gram or for the YouTube channel or to say they're, different. Or maybe because they're insane. Like, what's that one guy from Sweden? What's his name? Gay. I don't think he follows my channel, so don't worry. We're all good. But you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
She knows. Ashley's like, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
It's like,
she's like, her face is like, yeah.
But this is people, maybe him, I don't know. But people are obsessed with like, that food contains enzymes. Like, oh my God, I can't destroy those enzymes. If our metabolism is working properly, if our body temperature is elevated, we produce enzymes.
Yes.
And so I think it goes back to like just this obsession, and that can certainly help people who are healing, right? Like some people are very into eating raw eggs because it contains the enzymes or some, I don't know the exact. Yeah. But and raw milk too. And I still thoroughly enjoy raw milk and would prefer it any day over pasteurized milk. That's just like how we
Of course.
But
I think most people would, right? Yeah.
I think that people can go on to the extremes of seeking only consuming nutrient dense food, and then that can be restrictive in itself. And vitamin pleasure, is an important part of food. And
I haven't heard that before. I like that, vitamin P.
Yeah, vitamin P.
That's nice. I love it. So like, okay, so to be a little more specific, so when you guys did start consuming more carbs and milk and whatnot, what were some changes that you noticed? Did you feel immediately better? Was it like, or was it kind of a slow change, or how did that go?
We had slightly different experiences.
Okay.
I want to hear about both.
Well, yeah. So, I mean, yeah. I think what we described it as was like a corset was loosened when we ate carbs. It was like we could breathe.
Oh my God. Bananas don't cause diabetes anymore. Oh, right. It's oh God.
So we didn't fully understand the pro-metabolic repeat lifestyle at that time. So we were still eating a lot of meat. We were still eating a lot of fat. And then we added a lot of carbs.
Oh, so you got thick, didn't you?
I got extremely thick. And we're talking like estrogen dominant thick. And
did you use it? Did you go squatting? Did you just fucking 405 on the... No? Oh.
Because at the time, I was trying to get my period back, so I stopped lifting.
Oh, okay.
So I got thick, and I lost my muscle. And
you did, but if you think about it logically, right, you did a lot of things that differently. You didn't lift, and you changed your whole diet around. So that's why I always tell people, like, one thing at a time, calm the fuck down.
But this is an approach out there,
Yeah,
and it's called the all-in approach.
Yeah.
Have you heard about like Stephanie Buttermore and like
Yeah, I know
Dr.
Buttermore.
Nicola Rinaldi?
Yeah, so I went all in, and I really
Okay.
just gained a lot of weight, and learning more that I know now. So prior, my diet was like still meat heavy, high fat, high carb. Now I'm like no, I'm way more dairy heavy. I'm high carb, but I've like brought my fats down to where like I'm using carbs.
It's
as
not
my
low
fuel
fat.
source. It's not low.
You're getting
but,
plenty of fat soluble vitamins.
yeah,
but it's not
but
like
I just think I don't think you should do both. You really do get really thick unless you're trying to get like 7C.
Yeah, and
thick.
some people do need to put some weight
Yeah.
on. Yeah, and I just say just chug a gallon of
Oh,
milk
you
and
need
eat a
it.
lot
Yeah,
of fat.
then you do
needed-
that.
Mhm.
I needed to at the start, but then it become like really estrogen dominant. I don't know. I wish I had seen Kate Deering's book at the time, so I would have known like, okay, there's a process to this. Because I think that set me up for like, you're just not going to survive well in mold, girl, because you're just already estrogen.
because
And the
we
mold I
both
moved
moved.
into is like estrogen mimicking.
Yeah.
And
so
I want to get to the mold. I have some questions for you about that.
Yeah.
And then what about you, Ashley, when you started doing all that?
So this was all at the same time. Sarah and I sat down and we were like, we're gonna fix our hormones, and that involves carbohydrates.
I was very scared of eating.
Did you guys have like a meeting or something? Like I love this. Like you
did.
seriously?
We
I
sat
wish you
down.
see. Like I have a brother, but he's not like that. He's like
Yeah,
he's healthy-ish, but it's not like super into it like I am. So I
Well,
can't do those
like,
meetings.
Leo, like we were carnivore YouTubers. Like we
Right.
were we reached a like, oh my God, we are wrong. Like, do you know how embarrassing it is to
Yes, been there, done
publicly
that.
admit that like we were wrong. We were wrong. And we, to this day, I feel like I have led so many people astray by sharing that journey.
I don't think you should take it so seriously, first of all,
Yeah.
because most people are just there and they're like, "Oh, she's doing the carnivore thing. She's right," and then they're eating like a bagel or something. So it's like a lot of people are just like, and not to say that like you didn't, of course, but also I genuinely applaud you guys for just being like, "Oh, we were wrong," because most people don't do that. They just kind of step over it, right? And then it's like, oh, hey, I eat a pound of honey now, and I'm great. And it's like, hold on, but what about honey being fructose, high in fructose and causing diabetes and doing all that? And blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So seriously, bravo to you guys. Very good.
Well, so that was challenging. That's why I really think we did have a sit down meeting, because we're sharing things on Strong Sistas about carnivore and zero carb, and then we have this realization that, hey, like we found Ray Pete's work, and it's like, wow, if you dive in a little bit deeper, you learn more and you can make better decisions about certain things. So obviously we figured out and we determined that we needed carbohydrates, but we were very afraid of getting out of ketosis. Like it was like very, I remember being like,
it was still
how am I
the
gonna
sacred
finish
land.
yeah, how am I going to finish my dissertation? Carbs are going to give me brain fog.
Yeah.
So
I don't
because
like
I went a little bit slower. So
Okay.
I stopped working out as much. I was still working out though, and then I added in carbs and reduced fat a little bit slower. So I didn't gain as much weight in the beginning as she did. She was so committed to her hormones and her period, and I applaud her. And some girls need that. Some girls really need that. But I took a much more gradual approach. I still did gain weight. Like I think for someone who's coming out of showing your six pack like all year round and being too lean, like you're not going to get your period back being in the same state that you were then. And so I just took a little more gradual. And then we both moved into this house and we both had different reactions to the mold. And so I think that kind of tells where both of us were estrogen potentially wise. Cause like she said, the mold particles can be very estrogenic in the body.
Yeah.
So, we've been bouncing around, but that's why I wanted to bring out cow heart. Again, yeah, we were supposed to put the hats on when I said cow heart, and we just kept talking. In Russia, like chicken liver, beef tongue, it's like normal foods, actually. You buy that at the store very commonly. Here, it's not. So when I moved to Columbus, Ohio, by the way, OHIO, fuck Michigan. Anyway, we when I would eat chicken liver, people would look at me like I'm an alien, literally. So how did two girls? Where did you guys grow up eating that? Are your parents like super into it, or was it just you that you guys just got into it and then started eating cow hearts and kidneys and all raw meat?
Well, I think that honestly, like that was one of the best things that happened to us from our carnivore journey was one, learning that like animal foods are the most nutrient dense. You should be getting all of your fat and your protein from animal products. And so when we started going carnivore, we were very concerned about our micronutrients. And so that's where we learned about organ meats, because before that we were very much like, I've got to eat the rainbow to get all my micros.
Classic. So you did have a veganish phase or plant-based.
We
They call
were
it plant-based.
vegan.
Vegan.
VEGGAN.
We ate the egg whites.
Oh, so you were cheating. You're eating chicken periods, you sons of
I know. Not the yolks, though, really.
Were you eating honey? Were you eating honey from slave bees that are doing it for slaves? Slavery. Oh my God. Yeah, you haven't heard that?
No.
Yeah, vegans don't like. They say that bees are making honey and they're slaves, and that's why you're not supposed to consume it, even though it's like given to you for free, kind of.
Understand. I can see the argument.
Yeah, as you can tell, I've been vegan and been there and done that too.
Yeah.
No, we did not consume organ meats growing up, and so when we started carnivore in 2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was our first time.
Was it a specific person that you guys got this from, or is it just you looking around and just kind of agreeing with everything? Like, yeah.
We got into fasting because of Simlan.
Simlan. I don't know that person. Who's that?
Okay. All right. And then.
Oh no.
I think Carnivore MD, right?
Of course.
Ben Pekulski. We've always been big fans of him, like from his like strength training and stuff like that. And he started getting into fasting.
Yeah, through Charles Poliquin and all that kind of stuff.
And we were following we listened to his podcast a bunch, and so we followed him too.
Yeah. He's still probably eating like sauerkraut and ground beef for breakfast, right? Like that's.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. But it's like we never put the pieces together that like no other females really were. No, I don't know who we were looking up to.
But we were very much on the same timeline as Dr. Saladino.
Okay.
And so we took much more of his approach of organ inclusion. Carnivore relative to like Sean Baker slam just ribeyes and eggs.
Yeah. Still doing it. God bless him. I don't know. Still doing it. Okay. So you guys are just unique, huh? You were just like, okay, I'll try some cow heart and raw meat, huh?
We started with frozen beef liver. And so we would chop it up into tiny little like pills and then freeze those and then just like swallow those whole. And then we got into eating frozen liver because that was like a thing. And then we just I think just our body actually started to really appreciate the nutrients because we'd never had it before, and we were coming off like a plant-based approach, and it's like, wow, like our body, you need these nutrients. And so then our body just started to like crave it, and then it became really easy to eat
other random things.
But we've always been super adventurous in the kitchen, and so it was this new challenge of like, how many organ parts can I try and make it good?
That's funny. Yeah, because like I lived in the Midwest, like I told you, and it's not very adventurous land as far as food going. Like when I would go eat sushi in Ohio, people thought I was like, they'd be like, "What are you eating sushi?" Like it was like now of course culture's evolving, so I'm sure there's lots of spots like that. But 10 years ago it was not like that at all. And cool. Okay.
So then like we wanted to source the organ meats as well as possible. And so that made us seek out local farmers. And that was probably the best thing that's ever happened to us, because before we would just buy all of our food at the grocery store, and we never really appreciated like farming and agricultural practices and the way that food is grown and raised. And
so you guys did grow up on a farm or near a farm or whatever.
Our mom had like I don't know.
She has like a rescue farm. Yeah.
Okay.
We did not grow up on a farm.
No.
And so that's what got us into regenerative ag. And so again, like we were met, like we had to go through the carnivore journey to learn these certain things. Like animal products are so nutrient dense, and regenerative agriculture is incredibly powerful. And if we didn't go through that, we wouldn't be where we are today on a farm and so passionate about regenerative agriculture. So it all meant to happen. But one more thing on the organ meats. We were good friends with Dr. Saladino, and he asked if we wanted to do a cookbook with him. And so at the time, it was obviously 0 carb, nose to tail cookbook. And so that kind of led to an entire summer of just experimenting with as many organ parts as possible. Right. So I think that was also an opportunity that made us get adventurous in the kitchen.
Okay, so favorite body part, organ part, and least favorite. Most disgusting, AKA.
I think that I don't really like spleen. We can make it taste better.
It's sour.
But I think it's because of the iron content and because I didn't have my period for so long, and so I probably had so much stored iron, and so my body maybe like knew to react negatively to it. I know, but spleen in itself is really high.
It doesn't taste good. But we made a recipe with stuffed spleen, and it actually tasted good.
It does, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Stuffed spleen, and like you stuff the spleen, or you stuff the spleen?
It's a spleen and it's stuffed.
I'm sorry, am I giving away secret recipes?
A splurito.
Oh my God, she said splurito.
It's in the cookbook coming out. But
oh, exciting.
So I would say spleen is just not my favorite. Like I'd still eat it. Mm-hmm. There isn't really one that I wouldn't. Testicles I don't like them.
It's like a hockey puck, and they're chewy. And
I don't like them.
It's just a hockey puck.
And then in terms of one that I would like eat regularly, I really like beef heart and oxtail. If you even consider that a organ, that's more of an offal. But,
sure.
Yeah,
I think I do. Most people, I think most people don't ever eat oxtail. I mean, I rarely meet people that even. Sometimes I say oxtail, and they're like, "What?" You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's like it's not an organ.
It's so good.
Yeah. But it's delicious, especially like a soup, or like if you make like I do with some like rice pasta, and I put it inside, and it's. You ever try that? Sort of Asian style. It's very good. Very good. How about you, Sarah?
Very good. I think lamb heart is very good. Braised lamb heart.
Oh, specifically lamb heart. Wow.
It's different. It's very good. Yeah.
Lamb in generally, right? Lamb is different. Yeah. Do you guys eat much lamb now, or is both?
We're about to have a full lamb to move through.
Really?
Exciting. Yeah.
We've got our lamb out there.
Yeah.
Your own lamb?
Yeah.
Do you not follow Angel Acres?
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just missed that. I didn't know that. I didn't know you have your own. Wow. But no cows. No cows. It's so embarrassing.
No cows.
This is an embarrassing moment.
Oh, do we have cows?
No cows. 100%. I'm letting people know on the podcast, so how do you get your raw milk?
Right now we have a local farmer that we get our raw milk from, but we have 2 goats, and they will have milk production.
They have to have babies first.
In early spring, late spring, late spring.
Ready. So you're gonna Matt Blackburn it soon. You're gonna have your own goat milk.
Ooh. But until then we are trying to figure out how to make lamb or goat butter. It's really hard to separate goat milk.
Yeah. I just got this. Oh my gosh! Maybe you could help me. I just got this cream separator, and the instructions are all in Russian.
Yeah, just send me a picture of it. I'll translate it for you.
Okay, that's great. Wow.
Where did you get that? On Amazon or something, or what? eBay?
Yes, I got it on Amazon.
Wow.
And all the instructions came in Russian. The instructional video is in Russian.
So we tried one time and it didn't work, so we're gonna give it a second try.
Yeah, I'll message you about it.
All right. You let me know. Okay, so back to the timeline. So we're adding our carbs, and we're getting one of you is getting thick. The other one is doing all right, a little bit slower thickness.
One C, one Q.
1Q, 8Q.
Oh, you do Q? I do C's. I just take out the K and do C. No, this
Q.
isn't important though. Which one are we gonna go with? Q's or C's?
We've always done C's.
Right. Okay.
4C thick, 3C thick.
Thick is like, I don't know. I feel like if you put the Q in there, it's like a different thing. I don't know. Next level.
Yeah.
That's actually like a good thick, like juicy thick.
Oh, that's what juicy thick.
I think C is like, ooh, thick. I don't know.
Okay. And then you're moving into, and hold on, you guys opened up. You guys don't come from a family of farmers, because most people that have a farm or start a farm come from a family of farmers. And then you decide to start a farm?
Yeah.
Okay.
So she graduated undergrad. I finished grad school and kind of just said, let's do it.
Wow.
And so we moved into this farmhouse fall of 2020. Yeah. And then you could talk about your experience a little bit.
Literally like a month after we moved in, I started dealing with like really weird symptoms, like my foot neuropathy, so itching and burning and tingling like in the middle of the night. And then just started
this is at this house that you're currently right now, right?
Yeah,
Here.
correct.
Okay.
And just becoming more and more estrogen dominant. Like you can kind of tell it's like a different kind of fat gain, and really depressed, anxious. So it took. I didn't know what was happening. This is a very traumatic experience because there's not a lot of information about mold out there.
And it's complicated. Whatever's out there
is
super dense,
Yeah.
super complicated. I've been through it myself. I spent like probably at least $5,000 on different places testing stuff. And then like, honestly, I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like I still think it's, because you'll use one lab, they'll tell you this, you'll use another lab, they'll tell you something else. And I mean, of course, at the end of the day, like I feel like we all kind of know if there's mold there, and you're never going to have it perfect. You know, but it's such a complicated topic.
It really is.
And we were only like 6 or 7 months after introducing carbs. And so still not at the best place metabolically, like our body temperatures were not.
Yeah. And you moved to a new house. So it's like we were adding in more things that you guys changed about your lifestyle, right?
Yeah. But, so it took like 3 to 4 months to figure out like mold toxicity was a thing. Cause prior I had never heard of it. And then I started putting all these pieces together, and I got tested, and then we got the house tested, and pretty bad results. The main source of mold was in my bedroom window. And
who did you guys use for your testing? What, do you have a special company that you really like?
We did. So first I did a Great Plains mycotoxins urine test on myself. So just to see like, okay, is there mold inside of you? So I had very high ochratoxin A. And then we did an ERMI on the house to see if there is, something showing up in the house. And I know, that's kind of like hit or miss. Right. I mean, it's important to know, but like you said, it's very complicated because it doesn't tell you where. And so then we had to get an inspector out here to come look around. And we actually We Inspect. So it's like a pretty big company who will travel to your house. And so they found our main mold sources. But then it gets even trickier in finding a reputable remediation company. Yeah. And so it was it was an entire year. I had moved out by then. I moved out.
But you kind of feel like you checked off all the other boxes and you really felt like there was something going on with the mold. So you kind of kept going with it, yeah?
Yeah, in coming really full circle, it's like I was not metabolically healthy. And so I obviously responded worse to the mold. But like I said, like you wouldn't ever choose to move into mold because it's not pro-metabolic. It's like, good luck, being at your best health in mold. And so as I started to detoxify, things get worse first. I think like I had I would hallucinate in the middle of the night, and it was really weird. Like it was a lot of
wow, you're having like really That's not. I mean, most people just have a cough or congested, and anxieties come and depression. You're going like you're experiencing LSD trips on mushrooms, huh?
I know, it was weird, and I mean just severe insomnia, and so so detoxing from the mold, we moved out of the house. We lived in a tent for 2 months. Like it took a long time to figure this out.
This is in the summer you lived in a tent, or when did you live in a tent? Oh,
summer.
Okay. I was like, Jesus, in Michigan you lived in a tent.
Well, and then our parents have a house that's like 20 minutes from here, and so I moved out of the farmhouse and moved in there and transported like to and from the farm every single day to take care of the animals. And so that wasn't fun. And then
I think like mold is a problem, yes, but it's more so like what it's doing to your body. Like you're becoming nutrient deficient. Your thyroid is like, you're not having high temps. So like it's this downward spiral. And so if you can start fixing those things while you detoxify, that's how you're going to get stronger.
And so also, if you start at a place of already being drained, right, physically, mentally, and then you get into mold, it's like you're not going to handle it. Whereas another person that maybe never did extreme dieting or whatever, right, handles it much better.
Yeah. And so for my first focus was, detoxifying, but I only really started to see more progress when I was focusing on both detoxifying from the mold, but also more so improving my metabolism. So that's putting those two together has really come full circle. And
I think
it's a thing of the past now.
I think it's important to, something that we didn't realize in the beginning is like the best like detoxification you can do is when your liver is properly fueled. And one of the things that really gets hit when you do a bunch of zero carb or extreme dieting, just years of that, is like your liver is not that good at storing glycogen. And so your liver is already like 3 steps behind because it's trying to perform all these other tasks. And then you've already put on the burden of gluconeogenesis and all these things. And so liver health and thyroid health kind of go hand in hand as well. And we didn't have the best liver health, I would say, at the time. And so our detoxification wasn't the best. And so I feel like I didn't see as many symptoms as her. Like I didn't do I didn't have any of that. I started getting a little bit of neuropathy on my feet and my sleep got affected a lot.
So you both had feet stuff going on.
Just mine was very limited. And when I got out of the house, it went away. But my sleep got really affected.
Literally just like that. Immediately you moved out and you felt it within a few days. It just got better. Wow.
Probably like a few weeks, but yeah. Where was I going with that? I have watched her go through this path. She's had a very hard year. Like,
oh my God.
Like in all seriousness,
I'm still recovering. My feet are still.
In all seriousness, like this was probably the worst year of her life. Like I've been a part of her life, obviously, since we're sisters. And so reflecting on her healing journey, like it wasn't until her body temperature started to, like, it wasn't until she really started to improve that you saw like mental changes and like, I don't know. That's my opinion.
And we've seen like your guys' posts on, you working, I don't know. I don't think it was acupuncture. Remind me, what was you getting? First of all, how many creepy dudes messaged you that you have nice feet? I want to know that, A.
Oh gosh.
No, my feet have weird arch. Yeah, so like I said, I've tried so many different things, and really it's because like I feel like at a certain point I do the best I can with my diet, and this is where I'm getting a little bit more, it's not boo-boo. And so you're talking about like acupuncture and that kind of stuff. Like that's one thing, but my new focus is more so like what's going on in my head. I really do think there's a point where like you manifest things and like possibly like your autoimmune disease or something is part of your subconscious mind and you've like accepted it. And so therefore you manifest it. And so I know that sounds silly, but when I've done so many other things right and I'm still experiencing a symptom, I kind of want to look further to be like, what am I holding on to? Like what do I still believe is causing this? And so that's where I'm at now.
Some deep stuff.
My life is so much better now. Like it really was a hard year, but like, yeah, you're right. Like getting my temps up, I've supplemented with thyroid. I don't even know how I would detox more than what I already do. Like getting your health, your metabolism up is the first thing you should be doing. And so when I finally like accepted that and stopped stressing about it as much, I could start living my life again. And so now I'm finally at the point where like my sleep's getting better. That's huge. And I'm finally at the point where my feet don't bother me the whole night. I actually emailed Ray, and Ray was like, the tips he gave me within the last
probably
2
he
weeks.
said, did you check your thyroid? Are you consuming enough calcium first? And then he emailed him 17 more times, after which he said the same thing. And then that's not how it went?
He gave me, he said 2 quarts of milk every day.
Calcium.
He said orange juice, and he said flowers of sulfur.
Oh, that stuff works. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
And like literally within the last 2 weeks, my feet have significantly improved. And so
so it could be some sort of what do you call that? Is that fungal, kind of a fungal thing going on top? Because that stuff is great for if anybody has like, I don't know, athlete's foot or whatever, one of those things. That stuff works like a charm. Seriously, you just put it on, sprinkle it, and it just kills everything.
Yeah. I mean, I've spent like a significant portion of the last year on feet forms, trying to figure out.
This is becoming a very, very feet fetish podcast. Just kidding.
Because there's nothing there that's like, there's nothing there to be like, oh, that's fungal. But a lot of things are inside that you just don't know. And so, but the liver is also very connected to the feet. And so, I don't know. I think it's a whole body thing, but it's getting better. And I think that just shows like it's taken so long to get better. Well, where she recovered really quickly, but we're all on our own little paths. And
Of
so,
course.
And I think, I don't know, maybe I said some things that can be taken the wrong way. Mold is a problem, right? Like it really depends on, one, the degree of how much mold you're exposed to, but also the state of your metabolism and your thyroid. And it's not to say that like everyone is, it's really hard to be in peak health. So that way you're resilient to everything. Like
24/7, 365.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like life presents itself with so many stressors. And so mold is a problem. I don't mean to like discredit it or sound like that, but I think that if we would have done things slightly differently, flashback a year ago.
No, it's a problem, and I'll be the first to admit it. But I think what's the worst problem is being afraid of it.
Yeah.
And I was afraid for a long time, and that's what made me worse. Is I got, like I said, I was hallucinating in the middle of the night. I was scared. I was anxious, depressed.
But that's what a lot of the mold community is doing right now.
Yeah, but
it's
you
really,
have to, like,
really fearful.
Yeah.
Yes, there's mold. Yeah, I've listened to many a podcast of people doing crazy stuff, like, you know, and you get it. I understand it on one hand, right? Because you get to a point where you're just like, I'm so sick of being sick.
Yeah.
So what you do, people move out, people sell their homes, buy new homes, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, of course, at the end of the day, I feel like if you were a millionaire or a billionaire, you could build a house that's like perfectly made out of stuff that doesn't accumulate mold and it's like super, you know, I don't know, made out of bamboo or something. But it's like no matter where you go, there's going to be some sort of environmental toxin, and it's difficult. I guess you just have to do your best to, you know, keep yourself healthy. And watch out for the environment.
We really have learned a lot about like you said, because we're still in this house, right? Like we did the remediation, but it's not perfect, and you just have to do your best with, you know, whether you have an air filter, maybe if you're sensitive or something like that. And so we have a resource coming out where we really do outline everything we've learned from this, because like it was a lot.
And we've been the mold industry itself is horrible, especially being a female trying to navigate through it. People taking advantage of you. It's been a tough year going through some of that stuff as well.
It's not covered by insurance either.
Yeah, insurance is just this big, like,
complicated shit. Yeah. So what are you doing then? So do you have one of those like air doctor things, or what else are you doing to help?
Yeah. So, you know, little things like that, like air filter, taking better care. Honestly, mold mycotoxins like travel in dust. So just making sure you don't have dog hair laying around everything. And
we reduce the amount of stuff in this house. Like,
that helps, doesn't it? I do that like every few months. I just throw shit out. And as soon as you start thinking like, do I need this? You don't need it. You just got to throw it. Because you start thinking, I'll use it one day when I'm 78. And you're like, no, just fucking throw it out. Yeah.
And proper humidity is key. You have to have it within like 40 to 50%.
Are you using a what do you call humidor?
A
humidifier. Sorry.
Yeah, that's important. And I think like, if somebody does think that they're dealing with mold, you need to take it seriously at a certain point. And I would say the best thing that I did was move into a tent. You can tell right away if you're dealing with mold because you will get better.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy. I just got back from Florida visiting my friend Nick Stumphauser. I've had him on my podcast, but he lives in this like little town, and he is the last house, and then there's like the woods behind him.
Yeah.
And I slept like a baby there, you know, and I live in like a busy city, like, you know, another reason I want to get out soon. But yeah, it's like you literally do feel a big difference. And it's insane. Just like with diet stuff, you got to try it to know it, right? And I feel like a lot of people never tried it and they don't know.
Okay. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
that stuff. What else? What are like the big stones for you? Like, you know, okay. One, I think we've talked about enough is like eating carbohydrates or eating just food, enough calories, you know, to keep yourself healthy. Any other things that you guys are doing like consistently that, you know, you feel better, makes you feel good, makes you kind of resistant to stress and all that kind of bullshit?
Spending time outside. I think that's important. I reflect back on like when we started to feel sick and when we started to go down this like fasting journey to start to feel better. We would go to the gym indoors, but then we would like sit all day inside. Didn't appreciate being outside and things like that. And I think so that's super important.
So sunlight, walking, being outside. I personally like to eat regularly, so like every 2 to 3 hours, I like to eat. Uh,
Me too. Hey,
more
me too.
calcium, more milk. No oat milk.
No
more
oat milk. Yes. And so speaking of gym, like you're not training anymore nearly
No,
as
I
hard.
am training. Yeah, I
Are
know
you
you
training for
can't
something
tell, but
specific?
I train.
Are you training
What?
for something specific? You have a competition coming up or what?
No, I train for life, man.
Oh man! All right. Whoa, whoa. All right.
No, I just thought.
Cool.
I think like you can't take that part. Like I stopped doing that, and that made me unhappy. So I can't take myself out of.
Leo, we're
gym
the strong
anymore.
sisters.
Yeah,
I love it.
so I do every other day. With like, if I need to take more days off, I'll take more days off. I just do like upper, lower back, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, what's your training like? That's what I mean. Are you still doing powerlifting, or you're just doing life training? Like what? I don't know. Standing
It's
on
a
a
mix.
or something. It's a mix.
No,
Okay.
it's a mix. So like I'll do a main lift. So like I'll squat in like the 4 to 8 rep range or so, 4 to 10, and then I'll do accessories. So like 2 or 3 accessories for legs. Same with upper. So just kind of like that.
I work out in the garage here, and we've got like I've got my old what is it, Ohio Olympic power bar,
Woo.
and some weights
Rogue
there.
represent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that I needed that for.
They're very rusty though.
Yeah, but it's fine.
And we do farm tours, so we have like to
That's
carry
a
things.
workout. Yeah, that's a
It
workout.
really
People
is.
don't know, right? Yeah, people don't
Yeah,
know.
especially when your outdoor frost-free faucet freezes, and so you have to fill up everything in your kitchen and then take it all out there. But my training, I am still going like pretty light, but I think that like the main movements are just like you get the most bang for your buck, and learning how to properly perform those movements, I think, is something that will have benefits throughout someone's life. And so like knowing how to do an RDL, knowing how to do a deadlift, knowing how to do a squat and a push up and a bench press, like that just is functional movement patterns that are just going to, so I never want to lose that skill. And so I still perform those. And then once I have like, I got my period back in November. And so once I have like a strong period cycles, like continuously, and I've got like quite a few months under my belt there, I do want to get back into strength training in a smart way. And
so you're taking it easy because of that, because you still feel like you're kind of adjusting to this new.
I mean, like I think people expect, microwave society. People expect these quick fixes. I did not have a period from age 16 to 28. So like there is no way that
and you weren't on birth control then, were you? From 16 to 28?
I would go on randomly,
and but my point is, it wasn't because you didn't start out that you got on birth control and then you lost your okay.
Right. And so like I want to just make sure that my hormones get back regularly, and then I want to get back into strength training and schedule, like have my programming such that I take into consideration my cycle. So I schedule in a deload while I'm menstruating, and I use my body temperature as a way to gauge whether that workout was too much.
Or like Leo's story, you could do a deadlift and then chug some milk.
Yeah.
Okay. So because I mean, believe it or not, a lot of people don't understand, especially girls. Some girls don't understand that if you're training crazy and you're lean all the time, you have a 6-pack, it might affect your period. Because I've met many girls that are like, I don't understand why I can't get my period. And I'm like, well, they're super lean and they're like a lot of sprinting type of sports. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That'll definitely affect you.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're just
but
taking.
I love strength training so much, and so
you do kind of miss it.
Yeah, I do for sure. So I want to get back into smart strength training, not 5 to 6 days a week.
So you're not thinking of competing. I mean, if you guys are gonna compete, I'll sponsor everything. Fuck oat milk, everything. We'll
I might.
Tights,
we might have to now.
We might have to now.
Okay, so you just committed to
2023.
2023.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the goal, I would love to have a gym here at the farm where I could like roll the squat rack outside and just have like goats and chickens running around. Like that's
awesome. That's
like what I want. Yeah.
Dream boat. Okay, so you're thinking of literally having like a gym out there. Yeah, maybe getting a couple of squat racks, barbells.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like you're a deadlift person, huh? Ashley, you like deadlifting.
How do you know?
Because you said RDL and then you were like deadlift, and I was like, she likes deadlifting. RDL,
So I'm like into biomechanics too, and so I'm the long femur type. And so like,
Mm-hmm.
don't ask me to squat. Like my squat is crap,
No?
but I can deadlift.
Okay. And you, Sarah, what do you prefer? Are you a squatter?
I can do it all.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
Sarah just dropping bombs today after a bomb.
We're very similar structure wise. But I think you just have to work with, like, you'll see those people who have the squats where, like, I think Lane Norton is long femur too, and so you just have to find your squat.
I squat like Lane.
Yeah.
It's not the prettiest, but
Yeah, it's not really a squat. It's called a good morning. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Hey,
sorry,
okay.
but I'm sorry.
If you have a short femur, it is so much easier.
Just lighten the load and just squat all the way the fuck down.
Okay.
Ass to the grass,
true.
babe, and then
Well,
come back
yeah.
up. You know what I mean? That's
oh
all.
my gosh! All right, we're gonna have a thick contest. See who has the booty.
Thick, sponsored by Fuck Oat Milk.
I can see us all in Detroit at the gas station getting our
See?
bananas.
100%. Okay, and you, Sarah, you're just training. You're not also
Oh no, I am doing the same. Like
program.
I-
I mean, like, are you a program type? 5x5. Wednesday we're
Oh,
gonna do pull and push.
I just make my own program and I focus on progressive overload. I'll do like consistency for 4 weeks and then change it up.
Mhm.
Same movements really. Just like we'll change the rep, or like I'll add like a band, or I'll change the variation. But now I prioritize having like orange juice and salt during the workout, so like I don't
Game
fast
changer.
a long time. It really is a game changer.
It really
and then
is. Because most people do it anyway, but they just do Gatorade, right, or some other
Yeah.
shitty, or one of my most hated things, Monster. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I hate on everybody that walks around with a Monster in the gym. I don't know. come on. It's just like so.
Yeah.
You don't know what's in it. I mean, I know people just love the caffeine buzz off it, but it's I don't think it's healthy. That's all.
I used to drive around in a car.
Yeah.
So much.
Had in
Listening
the back
to country
seat.
music, right? And you had like a Monster can in there.
No, it was like the back seat was like a pool of Monster empty cans. Like
Oh.
I was white trash in it. That was in the past though.
White. That was the zero Monster.
Yeah, because they didn't have sugar. I was like, oh hell yeah! But that's such a mistake. It's such a mistake because then you drink more, and you're like, your body really just wanted the sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I told the story on my podcast before, but I had this girl one time. She had a Monster for every specific time of the day. So she had like a morning Monster. It was like, I don't know the flavors, but it was like grape or something. And then she had like one like lunchtime during work. It was like apple or whatever. I don't know the flavors. I'm sorry. And then she had like a coffee one pre-workout. So she had like
Circadian Monster.
4 of them
regimen.
during the day. Yeah.
Very good.
Don't
Very
think that's
good.
healthy.
You had the girl. What happened?
What's
Didn't work out.
Client.
My girl, no, client. It was a
Oh.
client. It was a client.
Client.
No, I could not. I would kill myself. After the second Monster, I'd be like, I'm done.
Okay, that's
No. So how about if people are like just getting into lifting, let's say, what do you think, like girls specifically, since you're girls, like where should girls start?
Yeah.
Learning how to perform the movements properly. I think that's the most important thing, because you see people in the gym performing the squat wrong and you're just going to hurt yourself like right off the bat. So I think doing what you can to watch YouTube videos, recording yourself on your phone and watching the videos back and just making sure that the form is good. I think start there. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and then once you get that down, I think just like have some sort of really simple program, like whether it's 2, 3, or 4 days a week of like an upper day, a lower day, and like whatever else, and just include like a main movement. And over the next 4 weeks, just try to progress in that movement a little bit each week. That could be like one extra rep, or a little bit more weight.
Yeah,
And
so
I
let's
think
say
that's
like
where you'll see the most progress.
week 1, you do 3x8 at 100 pounds. Week 2, try to do 3x8 at 105 or 110 pounds, and progress like that.
It's so simple,
Keep it
people
simple.
make it so complicated with like all these like
Yes.
supersets and bands
Conjugate
and stuff.
system, you got to put a band around your hips. It's just like, oh, what are you talking about? Well, I mean, and it's not that it doesn't work and it's not great, but the average person does not need that
No.
stuff. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
I think, and then making your program focused on big movements, you get the most bang for your buck.
But you got to also choose a movement that you feel where you're supposed to feel. Because I used to think I had to do all these different things. But like, if you're, for example, like forcing yourself to do, like, I don't know, the Bulgarian split squat, but like it's so much more stressful and you don't actually feel it. Like, do the lunge or something. Like, do what you feel good with.
Yeah.
You know,
Back
because then
is
you
a very
can progress.
common one. Yeah. Back is a very common one, where people do their back, but they just feel their biceps. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you want to feel your back, right? And it takes some time, of course, too. People do have to practice certain movements. Literally, I've had clients that never felt their back, and it took them maybe 2 years. And they're like, oh, I feel my lats, and it's...
That was her, yeah.
Yeah, it's very common. There's nothing wrong with it. But like you said, you do got to focus on that, and if you have a good coach, he'll tell you the cues to do that and all that.
Yeah.
But neither of you...
But keep it simple. Like, don't...
Totally agree with you.
It can get easily complicated.
Get in there, man. Put on your hat.
Yes.
Strap in.
Totally agree with you. But neither of you mentioned cardio.
Well, we do farm chores. Sometimes I'll do the occasional zone 2
I think
bike,
that's
but
not that I'm saying you should. I'm just saying it's interesting, right? That you guys are saying it sounds to me like people, girls should focus on, getting stronger rather than just being on the elliptical machine for an hour and a half while watching, a Netflix show and then just like zoning out and then like, okay.
Well, it all goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where like your metabolism and your thyroid health is what leads to optimal health, right?
Yeah.
And the more you do cardio, you can't get around it. You're gonna at some point reduce your amount of muscle mass if you're not strength training. Like if you're just doing cardio and you're not strength training,
and then it's harder to lose weight because you have less muscle and slower metabolism, and so it's a long. You got to play the long game, and I'm doing it now. Like I'm making up for so many years where I didn't play the long game. Mm-hmm. You got to build the muscle, get your metabolism in a better place.
Because the more muscle you have, the more your body will burn calories at rest.
Don't diet. And then when the time's right, like you'll see those composition changes because your metabolism's better, you're putting on more muscle, you're getting stronger. You have to commit to it. It's probably going to take 3 or 4 years. Like I'm talking to myself. Yeah. It's just one of those things because your health is also going to increase when you're starting to, reverse diet, increase your calories. So it's a long process, but everybody wants a quick fix. That's why we're jumping on the elliptical and eating 1,200 calories, so.
And then coming back, everything is worse, right? When they start eating a normal amount of calories, I'm getting fat. And it's like, well, fuck, you've been eating nothing for how long? 6 months, right?
Yeah.
To diet down. And bikini girls is really common, right? I've worked with many of those, right? It's like just, have you seen a lot of that, Sarah, when you were doing bikini competitions? A lot of girls that just fuck themselves up a little bit?
Yeah, I only did one, but I was the one who fucked myself up.
Oh,
so
sorry.
It's like, it's okay. But like you said, you have to kind of learn, And so now I have such a more appreciation for doing things right. And it's just as hard to, commit to eating more and building muscle as to like commit to eating less and losing weight. It's hard to do both.
Mentally.
Like, I just think that you'll see so much more benefit and reward if you do put the muscle on first and fix your metabolism, especially for your health too. Like, it's the whole G-flux concept. Like if you're able to maintain a physique at 2,500 calories or versus 2,000 calories, like imagine the physique at 2,500 calories, it's usually healthier and better than the lower one. And so
this is another thing that we kind of live by almost is move more, eat more. Be like the Amish.
Yeah, which by the way, there was like a really funny study that recently came out. It was like the Amish eat much more sugar than the average American, but yet they're not fat, and it was like, yeah, duh, because they're working, they're outside and they're actually gathering with people and they're doing stuff. They're not like literally, because not most, but a lot of American lives are like, right? Go from your house to your garage, get in the car, drive, go to the office, walk back to the car, drive to Walmart, park as close as possible to the door, right? Otherwise you get pissed while driving around, like, there's no parking spot. And then walk inside, walk back, drive home, sit the rest of the day home, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of
people. Because this is a whole other thing to go into, but like NEAT, non-exercise activity, thermogenesis.
Active thermogenesis.
So like, working out for like a 30-minute or 1 hour period at the beginning of the day and then sitting the rest of the day is not healthy necessarily. Like, I think it'd be better if someone just like moved regularly throughout the day.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, it's like, and honestly, kind of same thing goes with exercise, I feel like, because a lot of people do the 3 days a week gym and they go balls out, right? Really fucking hard, murder themselves. Been there, done that too. Like 10 sets of 10, let's go. And then cardio and then this. And then like 2 days off, you just lay on the couch because you're dead, because you're murdered. And I always say with somebody new that's just getting into exercise, it's way better to do 10, 15 minutes every single day, maybe even twice a day, like light, and just do that for a long time than it is for you to go to the gym twice a week like a lot of people do. And just because you feel guilty, let's face it, nobody goes to the gym on Saturdays and Sundays. Everybody's partying, right? And then Monday comes around, the gyms are kind of like starting to be busy, and then Tuesday is the busiest day because Monday everybody's like, fuck, I missed Monday because I was hungover. Okay, it's Tuesday, I gotta go. So everybody goes on Tuesday, and then again it's like 2 more days off. Then maybe people will go Thursday or Friday, and then back to the same cycle. So anyway, I'm just saying, it's like you're saying, it's much better to do little increments or move around all day than to do a crazy workout and then sit the rest of the day, huh?
Yeah. There's this guy on Instagram.
He's like, be more Amish, and all of his posts are these memes of like,
just he's not Amish, right?
No, it's it's like calorie deficit or walk more. Calorie deficit or walk more. Like you always should choose walking more. You know,
his account is b.more.amish, and so I just think that's just like a funny approach.
It's a good way to live. Like you said, do a little bit here and there. Speaking of, like, we need to move. It's been an hour and a half.
You gotta do okay, girls.
No, not you.
I'm kidding. Okay, a couple of shoulder shrugs.
You're like moving around, so I'm feeling that.
I'm a little like that. Yeah, I do. Fuck you. Check. You gotta see me on a plane. I hate flying because it's like for me, it's like my because I gotta like move, and I'm like. But this last flight on the way back actually was the best flight because I got like mask policed by the woman that was sitting next to me. Well, there was a seat between us. Yeah, she did the whole like, could you please press your mask firmly around your face? And I did it. Okay, I did it. And then we start taking off, and like just as we're about to reach cruise control, she starts barfing in a bag, right next to me. Yeah. And she's just like going ham on it, like really barfing in the bag. I never had that experience before. Anyway, so I was like, so much for that mask because I could smell it, too. Not to disgust you, but yeah, it was a good time. Why did I bring that up? Oh, because we're talking about fucking plates.
So it's these simple principles that see a lot of like successful people who maintain good health and good physiques, like Stan Efferding, where he just suggests, go for a 10-minute walk after your meals. Like simple things like that, I think are important to incorporate into your routine because, better blood flow and
and it's funny, you start craving it after a while, right? Like I feel when you're active like that, you start kind of feeling like, oh man, I feel like shit just sitting on the couch all day after, or like watching a movie, like hour or two tops, and then you're like, okay, gotta move.
But it's not like extremes. Like it's not like you're gonna go for a run it's just like we go on light walks with our dogs or go do farm chores, and it's just like regular, simple movements.
I think that's good for your mental health too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and getting a dog, I think it's a good one. You guys have how many?
3. What kind are you getting?
No, I don't. I'm not getting one. Well, I want to, not yet. I gotta get out of the city first, and then I'll get a little dog. Gotta get a little backyard. Because come on, I love huskies too. I'm Russian, so of course, like I would get a husky too. You guys have 3 huskies or 2?
They're crazy. We have 1 husky.
You gotta like work them to death.
Yeah, he carried out straw to our lamb the other day. So, hey, he's doing good things. Yeah. We have lamb. Did you know that?
What? Hold on. Do you guys have cows? I'm just kidding. So speaking of that, so what are your goals now that you're starting to feel a little better, kind of coming out of the keto hole or whatnot? What are your goals for like 2023? What are you guys doing on the farm?
Oh, we're like way out of keto hole. Yeah. We're doing really well, actually. Our goals for the farm, we sell our eggs. So we have corn and soy-free eggs, but we've got another secret project going there.
Yeah. We changed the PUFA content of our eggs, which is really exciting.
Did you get that measured in a lab? Did you?
Yeah, we got the fatty acids. So like that's like a dream of ours because it combines like science, nutrition, and farming.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've got a flock of like 250 birds, and so we ship out eggs to customers each week.
Do you ship to California?
No.
God damn it! Nobody likes California. I know. I don't either anymore. But all right.
You gotta move. Yeah,
how about Florida?
Yeah, we'll do Florida. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Florida will do.
And then we have a lamb flock, and so we're like the finishing operation. So we buy young lambs that are weaned off their moms from a farm that's like an hour and a half away. And then we get them when they're like a month or two old. And then we finish them here. And so we'll get another lamb flock. We're taking our current lamb flock that's out there to the processor in like 9 days. And then we're going to.
This is your first time doing that?
First time.
Ooh.
Yeah, we are first generation farmers. We're learning as we're doing. And then we get our next batch of lamb in like April or June. And so we'll do that again. But honestly, we just like educating about it too. And so we share on our Instagram, our Angel Acres Instagram. And what are other things for this year?
Yeah, we got some strong Sistas programs and stuff we're going to come out with. So
yeah,
exciting. We just got to like get to it. You know, it's always harder to get the actual thing done. It's so fun to keep learning.
Mm-hmm.
But then to like put it out there is like another thing.
Takes time. It's hard work. And chicken and the eggs and all that sold through Angel Acres, right?
Correct.
yes.
And that's angelacres.com or through your Instagram.
You can find us on the Instagram. It's at angel__acres. A lot of things were taken.
I was like, wait, you don't like that, huh? It's all right.
Yeah. And then we have the goat milk. So our small goats right now, Mavis and Camo, we have to get them pregnant, and then they will start
We'll sell raw goat milk.
sell raw goat milk soon.
Ooh, across the country or what? Just locally?
We're gonna run into so many barriers
Because you have to, right? Yeah. Well, the way they do it, like in states like Florida, right, is they put for pet consumption on it, right? Is it the same deal in Michigan? Because it's also illegal there, I'm guessing, right?
I don't know. I know that there's like
illegal technically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
There's rules for shipping over state lines. I'm not sure, but we'll figure it out. We will make it happen.
Yeah. But first, we got to figure out how to separate the cream.
Yeah. So I got to get back to you.
Oh yes, right. I got you. Send it to me, and I'll translate the Russian for you. Not we.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Sounds good. It was a great chat. Anything else? People can find you strong.sistas, right? On Instagram.
At strong.sistas. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for the chat.
Yeah.
Thanks, Leo.
Maybe we'll do it
It's a lot
again
of fun.
sometime, eh?
Yeah. For sure.
Things you own end up owning you.